In our vidcast, we are going to talk about how and when advertising started to be relevant in sports, famous sports figures that have been in advertisements, and where advertising is currently heading in the sports world. Advertising in the sports world has developed significantly over the past 100 years. It started in the 1870s, where the tobacco company made cards with baseball players on them that you would get when purchasing cigarettes. This was one of the first promotions for sports that benefited another industry as well. Eventually, after moving away from the tobacco company influence, baseball cards formed in their own brand and became a new trend in society. This trend benefited teams significantly because this trend was a large advertisement. Advertising evolved in the baseball world, with companies starting to brand themselves with athletic teams and players in order to expand their brand name. One of the first companies to do this was General Mills, with their product Wheaties. Wheaties' new strategy for advertising was to brand themselves with a team. According to History Pop, the first sports figure to appear on a cereal box was Lou Gehrig of the New York Yankees in 1934. This was the first time sports figures were branded with a product. They continued their plan and expanded their campaign. Wheaties' advertising plan worked and increased their sales significantly through the 1930s and 40s. It endorsed a variety of stars including Jack Dempsey in boxing, Johnny Weissmuller, a famous American Olympic swimmer, and more in other sports. Wheaties eventually focused mostly on Major League Baseball and was endorsed by the Major League All-Star Game. The MLB cut to a special commercial series to feature several companies, including Wheaties cereal.
Before I swing for the bleachers, CDs, I get the Edie's for my Wheaties.
Before I slam my gorilla donkeys, I get the Edie's for my Wheaties.
The Edie's for Wheaties.
This created a major sports brand advertising relationship that evolved the way companies advertise with sports figures. Sports figures can have a large impact on the message of the product when endorsed. Some of the most famous sports commercials have resulted in increased sales for the companies. One of the most famous commercials is Michael Jordan drinking Gatorade. This was very successful because everyone wanted to be like Michael Jordan, who is arguably the best basketball player ever. If he was the best and he was seen drinking Gatorade, then everyone would want to drink Gatorade. Linking products and brands to these popular athletes and celebrities unites that product with the endorser's fans. These commercials have a positive effect on social media for their companies. People spread the commercials by sharing it with friends and others because it has something they can relate to. Media has created a stronger connection for brands and their consumers, as well as reaching new customers.
Tom?
Hi.
Welcome to Shields MRI. Would you please remove all jewelry and place it in the locker?
Oh, yeah. Sure, no problem.
Tom Brady trusts Shields MRI. You can too.
That all?
Actually, no. I forgot this one. It's kind of new.
We're gonna need to get you a bigger locker.
Roger that.
Shields Healthcare. Go where the pros go.
However, athletes endorsed by companies must maintain a certain image, otherwise they can lose their endorsements and cost companies money. Athletes and celebrities often have their ties cut with a brand after bad public exposure to scandalous events. One athlete, Lance Armstrong, was dropped by Nike after overwhelming evidence of him cheating with performance enhancement drugs to win the Tour de France several times. Advertising further evolved with the introducing of logos on jerseys. In the 1950s, a Uruguayan soccer club team, Pinheiro, introduced the first advertisement on their jersey. 20 to 30 years later, teams all over Europe indulged in advertisements. Advertisements on jersey became a large source of revenue for teams. Today, advertisements on jerseys are still increasing, with the NBA becoming the newest sports organization to adapt to this trend. According to Forbes, one of the largest sponsorships came from Chevy to Manchester United with a deal of $559 million for 7 years of placing their logo on their jerseys. These large sources of revenue provide a huge spending boost to professional sports teams while advertising the brands for millions. Advertising in sports has been around since the 1870s with a constant evolution of strategies. From branding themselves with sports figures to endorsements, the field of advertising in sports is going to continue, with more advertisements being directly focused on athletes' live performances.